This is KGW News at Sunrise.
You know, I'm old and I don't think it's going to get straightened around before I die. That's how I feel.
A legal showdown between the city of Grants Pass and its homeless population goes before the U.S. Supreme Court today. The outcome of this case could affect how all cities, including Portland, deal with homelessness. We'll share the history behind the case coming up in our top story.
And from coffee cups to cleaner streets, how one local coffee chain is working to give downtown Portland a bit of a boost and pick up some trash along the way. That's ahead.
Also, today is Earth Day. So we're going to use this international celebration of the planet to kick off a full week of good energy stories. Chris McGinnis is the man behind the wheel of our Good Energy series, and this morning he's driving us towards this question. Are electric vehicles really better for the planet than gas-powered cars? That's coming up at 5:15.
Yeah, lots of things to cover. Happy Monday. Happy Earth Day to you. Glad you're here. Lots of Earth Day events happening today and throughout the week. Rod, what's the weather going to be like?
Yeah, beautiful start. And I'm to the week. I'm going to make a big deal this week of how badly we need some good soaking rain. And right now, the chance of getting some good soaking rain is showing up Thursday and Friday. So if you have plans, keep your eye on those 2 days, the forecast. No issues out there today or tomorrow. We're going to have sunshine. You can see the flags are blowing. It's a north breeze out there this morning. Temperature out of PDX is down to 44, but there are cooler spots. 34 now in Sandy. NWS popped up a frost advisory for some of the upper elevations. Coast Range, Cascade Foothills up into Clark County. Battleground is at 35, but in the flats of the valley, Salem's 41, down to Albany, it's 43. Sunrise is 6:12, and we will be treated to a beautiful blue sky right from the get-go. 63 at noon would equal yesterday's high, and I have us warming up to 72. And that is today's forecast for Earth. Here's Chris.
That looks good. All right, let's take you. We'll zoom in from the Earth view to the local view here. Let's take you to Vancouver. All quiet right now over the Interstate Bridge. Switching gears down towards Wilsonville, the I-5 drive from the Boone Bridge northbound. Those are the headlights heading northbound. That looks pretty good. Out to Hillsborough we go. That's pretty wide open on Highway 26. And last but not least, Gresham, Interstate 84 again wide open. No crashes, no unexpected freeway delays just yet, guys.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chris. Our top story at 5 is one many cities will be paying attention to. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court will be hearing arguments in a case from Grants Pass in southern Oregon.
So what the justices decide could have big implications on the homeless crisis all around the country. Devin Haskins is live in our newsroom this morning with more on this case. So Devin, this really centers around whether cities can penalize a person for sleeping outside.
Yeah, and it could be a couple months before there's a decision in this case. But arguments will be made about whether fining someone that sleeps outside violates the 8th Amendment. And if doing so is considered cruel and unusual punishment. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this case, here's a little bit of the backstory. Back in 2018, a group of homeless people sued the city of Grants Pass, Oregon, over how it punished people sleeping on the streets. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals sided with the homeless group, citing a previous case out of Boise, Idaho. The Idaho ruling said governments cannot punish people for sleeping outside if there isn't enough shelter. And at the time, Grants Pass did not have enough shelter beds available. The city of Grants Pass appealed the Ninth Circuit Court decision to the Supreme Court. So today, attorneys for the homeless group will argue that the city wasn't trying to prevent camps from popping up, but rather make it uncomfortable for homeless to exist at all in the city. Lawyers for the city will argue that the Idaho ruling tied their hands when it came to homeless policy, and they've got bipartisan nationwide support. A law professor from Willamette University says he expects the court to overturn the Ninth Circuit's decision.
Overall, I'm fully expecting the Supreme Court to side with Grants Pass here. I think the U.S. Supreme Court, not to put too fine a point on it, a court that is unwilling to say the Constitution protects a woman's right to choose is going to be even more hostile to the notion that the Constitution protects the right to be homeless or to camp in public parks. So I think the court took this case precisely with an eye to reversing the Ninth Circuit's decision.
All right, so even though the case is being heard today, it could still be June or July, a few months from now, before we know what those justices decide. Christine.
Okay, thank you for that report, Devin. And this week, Portland City Council is set to consider 2 different camping ban proposals. They were scheduled to potentially vote on one proposal from Mayor Ted Wheeler. That is until Commissioner Rene Gonzalez introduced his own plan. Wheeler's plan would impose fines or jail time if campers refuse shelter when there's space available. Gonzalez's plan would allow the mayor or some other designee to set the rules when it comes to camping on public property. City Council is expected to discuss both proposals on Wednesday.
A new study by Portland State University takes a closer look at the impacts of different housing options for the homeless. Researchers looked back through 2 years of numbers and interviews and found that traditional shelters that house a lot of people didn't necessarily lead to the best outcomes for the homeless. They found better results came from alternative shelters like motels or villages.
Motel shelters and village shelters, they tend to be smaller. They're with the same group of people. And, the clients there felt very supported. They could build a sense of community, and they built really good relationships with the staff who were able to help them navigate some of these really complicated services.
This research points out that alternative shelters can be more expensive, but they found the reason they work better is because of the privacy they offer.
Today we are celebrating Earth Day, and we're featuring some of the photos you shared with us on our KGW Facebook page. The first photo is of a cute little hermit crab. You can see him right there in the middle. Taken in Taft, Oregon. Brandy, thank you so much for posting it. What a cutie. Check out this picture Bonnie shared with us, a stunning rainbow. Wow. She says she took it in the southern hills of Oregon. Lastly, we have a photo of Mount Hood at sunrise. Whoa, look at the colors on that one. Eric, thank you so much for sending in this beautiful shot of that sky. If you have a favorite photo of nature, share it with us on our KGW Facebook page, right? The colors are amazing. We'll continue to share all those photos throughout sunrise.
A local coffee chain is investing in downtown Portland and helping to clean things up there along the way.
Sydney Dorner has a look at Stumptown Coffee Roaster's new cafe that just opened over the weekend.
Every downtown in the country has experienced safety concerns as well, but that isn't stopping us from continuing to commit.
Stumptown Coffee is showcasing their devotion to downtown Portland, opening up a new shop at Southwest 11th Avenue and Washington Street. They aren't strangers to the area, with the location on Southwest 3rd Avenue since 2003.
We have stuck it out through COVID and beyond, and we really believe in this city coming back, and so that's why when it was time to pick our newest location, we decided we were going to stick with downtown Portland.
The coffee company held many events this week to celebrate the grand opening, teaming up with Solve, an environmental nonprofit, to host a cleanup, inviting Portlanders to pick up trash from their Southwest 3rd Avenue cafe to their new location in the 11W building.
And a lot of us are just happy to get out and kind of invest our time back into the community and try to clean up the neighborhoods around us.
Volunteers say they are noticing a slow turnaround for downtown Portland. Excited to see the area not just cleaner, but on the path to revitalization.
So we're really starting to have a variety of resources, businesses, multifamily environments in this neighborhood, and it's so great to see all the growth happening and taking place.
Sydney Dorner, KGW News.
All right, before we get back to Rod, let's talk about yesterday's race that combines two things Portland is well known for. We're talking about bridges and brews. Thousands of people took part in the city's Bridge to Brews walk and run yesterday. There was a 10K, there was an 8K. These races ran across the Hawthorne, the Morrison, and the Broadway bridges. And when the runners were all done, they were treated to a beer festival. More than a dozen brews on tap there along the waterfront.
If you like Portland, if you like running, or if you like beer, this is a spot for you.
Everyone's just so positive. It's just really nice.
I just love the energy.
Yeah.
I love being out there with everybody, and then, everybody is sharing that same feeling.
And the weather cooperated so well.
Pretty sure I was still laying in bed when most of those people crossed the finish line yesterday.
Me too.
I slept in a little bit on Sunday. That beer festival, by the way, was also available to people who decided to not take part in the race. So if you just wanted the beer part, that was available.
Yeah, and it looks like that she said the weather held out. The weather's going to be beautiful to start out the week too, right?
Yeah, today and tomorrow, great. We're going to focus on we need rain a lot. So the last time we even had a quarter of an inch of rain, kind of a rainy day in general, was a little more than 2 weeks ago. It was on April 6th. And the last time we had several days in a row that produced widespread soaking rains where we got up nearing an inch of rain over a period of days. That stopped or ended on March 28th. So it's been dry and getting drier. We need some soaking rainfall. Yes, sir.
April 6th is my mother's birthday.
Is that right?
You probably knew that, though.
I did know that,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt with that.
Let's get you. Now we're going to start off the week.
It's what I think about when he mentions that date.
Well, that makes sense. That makes
guess
sense.
so. That makes sense.
We're going to start off the week with more sun and more warm weather, but I want to, paint the picture that we need some rain, and right now it looks like we have a chance to pick up a pretty good soak during the days of Thursday and Friday this upcoming week. No problems today, no matter where you go. Seattle, Medford, over into Idaho, the coast, you're going to find sunshine and fairly warm temperatures. Breezes will be generally north 5 to 15. It's a cool start for some of you. We have 25, in fact, in Burns and Baker City. And then out in the gorge, the Dow's at 38. Kelso's 37. We have 30s in Astoria, Newport, and Florence. Portland and Salem so far holding above 40. Portland is at 44 degrees. There is a frost advisory that the Weather Service popped up late yesterday for some of the upper elevations, getting mainly up into the Coast Range, somewhat the foothills of the Cascades, and up into parts of Clark County. But the flats of the I-5, we're going to stay above 32. This is today at 4 o'clock. A little bit of cloudiness down south, but it's kind of partly sunny to mostly sunny stuff. And a lot of this is kind of high cloudiness for, I think, mostly sunny overall. Tomorrow, this is 4 o'clock on Tuesday. Wednesday is the first day with a shower chance back in the forecast. And then out here is the rain that I'm tracking to come in on Thursday. So how much are we looking at? This shows these will be basically Thursday rain amounts. Half of an inch in Lincoln City, a little bit more than 3/10 of an inch in Portland. Some rainfall moving over into Central Oregon, shows Prineville at 11/100ths. And then we'll add to that Friday, some rain Saturday, and then we'll add to it on Sunday. So all total, this gives us the promise here on the west side of well over 2 at the coast and around an inch of rain or so this coming week, which we need up and down the I-5 corridor. Today, though, enjoy the sun, enjoy the warm weather. 70-degree temperatures. Everybody will be close to it. Some will be a little bit warmer. I show Longview 68 and Vancouver at 72. I've got Portland at 72. 73 tomorrow. What we'll call a shower chance on Wednesday, but a day that could be dry. And then we've got the rain at times on Thursday, Friday, a bit of a drier day Saturday, and then rain picking up on Sunday. And that is your 7-day forecast.
Looking good. Okay, thank you.